My brother-in-law raised his glass and bragged, "I'm flipping the family beach house easy profit." I just smiled. He didn't know I'd quietly bought that house years ago. He also didn't know the contractor waiting outside was furious. I was watching my brother-in-law stand in my father's living room, holding a glass of champagne like he'd just closed the deal of the century, when I realized he was actually going to do it. He was going to lie to everyone. Again. "Big announcement, everyone," Ethan said, that practiced smile spreading across his face. The room quieted. My sister Lauren touched his arm, beaming like he'd just proposed a second time. "I'm flipping the family beach house. Got the permits approved. Renovations are almost done. Should clear a solid profit by spring." The room erupted. My father clapped him on the shoulder. My uncle Mark, different Mark, family, Mark, raised his glass. My cousins crowded around asking questions about square footage and contractor costs, and whether he'd used the original hardwood. I sipped my wine and said absolutely nothing, because what they didn't know, what Ethan apparently didn't know I knew, was that I'd bought that beach house 5 years ago, quietly. No family announcement, no group text, just me, a real estate attorney named David Chen, and county records that clearly showed my name on the deed. Ethan had never owned it. He just lied, like he always did. The deck restoration was the expensive part, Ethan continued, gesturing with his champagne flute. "But I negotiated the contractor down. Guy wanted $23,000. I got him to 18. My cousin Jessica leaned in. "Is it still the blue shutters, or did you repaint?" "Keeping the blue," Ethan said smoothly. "Classic coastal charm. Buyers eat that up." I almost laughed. The shutters were green, had been green since 1987. My sister squeezed his arm. "He's been working so hard on this. Weekends, evenings, I barely see him. Investment takes sacrifice," my father said approvingly. "Good man, Ethan. Someone needed to do something with that place." I'd been doing something with that place, renting it out seasonally through a property management company, making quiet, steady income while living my life 3 hours away in the city. The beach house had been my grandmother's. When she passed, none of my siblings wanted to deal with it. Too much maintenance, too many memories, too far from their suburban lives. I'd offered to buy it from the estate. My siblings had been relieved. "Take it," my brother Ryan had said. "One less thing to worry about." So I did. I hired David Chen, paid fair market value to the estate, handled all the paperwork. The whole transaction took 6 weeks. I didn't make a big deal about it because that's not how I operate. I just did it. Apparently, Ethan saw an opportunity in my silence. "When do you list it?" my uncle was asking. "March," Ethan said confidently. "Spring market is killer for beach properties. I'm thinking we list at $650, see what happens." We, like he had partners, like he had any claim whatsoever. My phone buzzed, a text from a number I didn't recognize. "Is this Daniel Morrison, the owner of 847 Seabreeze Lane?" I stepped into the kitchen, away from the celebration. "Yes, who's this?" "Mark Rivera. We need to talk." "About Ethan Collins." My stomach dropped. "What about him?" "He hired me to renovate your property. Said he owned it. I've been working for 3 weeks. He owes me $15,000, and now he won't return my calls." I stared at the message. "Read it twice, 3 times. Are you at the property now?" "No, but I can meet you." "Tomorrow morning?" "I'm in the city. Can you send me photos of the work and any contracts you signed?" 3 dots appeared, then stopped, then appeared again. He said this was his family's beach house, that he was handling the flip personally. "Are you telling me he doesn't own it?" "He's never owned it. Send me everything you have." The photos started coming through. New deck railings, half installed, bathroom fixtures ripped out, sitting in boxes, fresh drywall compound on the walls, work that I hadn't authorized, changes I hadn't approved. Then came the contract. It had Ethan's signature, my property address, and forged permit numbers from the county. I knew they were forged because I'd checked the county record system 2 months ago for my annual property tax review. No permits had been filed, no renovations had been approved. Ethan had hired a contractor to work on a house he didn't own, using fake documentation, and now that contractor was 3 weeks deep in labor and materials with no way to get paid. I looked back into the living room where Ethan was still holding court, still lying, still convincing my family that he was some kind of real estate genius. "Mr. Rivera," I typed carefully, "I'm the legal owner. I have the deed and county records to prove it. Ethan has defrauded you. I think you should contact the police." "Are you serious?" "Completely. I'm sorry this happened to you, but I never authorized any renovations, never hired you, and never agreed to pay for anything. This is fraud." "Jesus, do you have his address?" "I have the address where I'm supposed to send the invoice. Someplace in Riverside County. That was where Ethan and my sister lived, 20 minutes from here. Send me copies of everything," I wrote. "Every text, every email, every photo. I'll forward it to my attorney, and we'll figure out next steps." He said the permits were approved. He showed me paperwork. It was forged. There was a long pause. "I've been in construction for 12 years. I've seen some shady stuff, but this? Yeah. What do you want me to do?" I thought about that. About Ethan in the next room, drinking my father's champagne, accepting congratulations for a project that didn't exist. About my sister, who had no idea she'd married a con artist. About my family, who'd always liked Ethan more than they liked me, because he was charming and I was quiet. For now, document everything. anything. I'll call you tomorrow. We'll figure this out. Okay. I went back into the living room. Ethan was explaining his renovation timeline to my cousin Marcus, who worked in commercial real estate and should have known better than to take Ethan at face value. The bathroom is the key, Ethan was saying. Buyers will pay premium for a good bathroom. I'm going luxury fixtures, heated floors, the works. Heated floors. In a beach house that would be used 3 months a year. My father caught my eye. Daniel, come tell Ethan about that investment property you looked at in Portland. I'd mentioned it once, 6 months ago, at a different family dinner. I was surprised my father remembered. I walked over, stood next to Ethan, looked him in the eye. How's the renovation going? I asked pleasantly. Great, he said without hesitation. Contractor's solid. Works ahead of schedule. That's unusual. I know, right? Got lucky with this guy. What's his name? Ethan blinked. Who? Your contractor. Oh, Mark Rivera. And he's been responsive? Communications good? Yeah, why? I smiled. Just curious. Contractors can be tough to manage. Not this one. Professional operation. I nodded slowly. Good to hear. My sister joined us, sliding her arm through Ethan's. He's being modest. He's been so stressed about the permits and the timeline and making sure everything's up to code. The permits came through okay? I asked. Finally, Ethan said. County took forever. But yeah, all approved. That's great. Which permits did you file? He looked at me like I was speaking another language. The standard ones. Building permit. Electrical. Plumbing. No structural? The deck's not structural. It's a replacement. County usually requires structural review for deck replacements. Weight load calculations. Ethan's smile tightened. My contractor handled it. Huh, good contractor. My sister was looking at me strangely. Why all the questions? Just interested, I said. Real estate stuff. You know me. She didn't know me. None of them did. They knew Quiet Daniel, who worked in software development and didn't talk much at family gatherings. They didn't know about the rental income I'd been quietly generating for 5 years. They didn't know I'd been studying property law in my spare time after some tenant disputes. They didn't know I had a real estate attorney on retainer. They definitely didn't know I was watching my brother-in-law commit fraud in real time. I excused myself and went to the bathroom, locked the door, called David Chen. He answered on the second ring. Daniel, it's Saturday night. This better be good. My brother-in-law is renovating my beach house without my permission using forged permits. Silence. Say that again. I explained everything. The announcement, the contractor, the photos, the fake permit numbers. David whistled low. That's fraud. Like actual criminal fraud. I know. Have you contacted the police? Not yet. I wanted to talk to you first. You need to file a report tonight, and you need to document everything, every conversation, every text, every photo that contractor sends you. What about my family? What about them? They think he's legitimate. My sister's married to him. Daniel, David's voice went serious. He's committing fraud using your property. He's lying to a contractor. He's forging government documents. This isn't a family dispute. This is a crime. I know. So, what do you want to do? I looked at myself in the mirror. Quiet Daniel. Overlook Daniel. Daniel, who never made waves. I want to let him hang himself, I said. David was quiet for a moment. Meaning? He's announced the flip publicly. To my entire family. He's committed. He can't back out now without admitting he lied. Okay, so I'm going to document everything. Let him keep talking. And when the time is right, I'm going to show everyone exactly who he is. That's risky. What if he causes more damage to your property? The contractor's legitimate. He's not going to trash the place. And honestly, the work probably needed to be done anyway. I'll just make sure Ethan pays for it. Through legal channels. Through legal channels. David sighed. You're my client, so I'll support you. But Daniel, be careful. Family stuff gets messy. And this guy sounds like he's desperate if he's pulling something this big. I'll be careful. I hung up and went back to the party. Ethan was showing someone photos on his phone. Before pictures, he was explaining. Place was a disaster. Hasn't been updated since the 90s. I'd updated the kitchen in 2021. New appliances, new countertops, new backsplash. The photos he was showing were from a real estate listing I'd seen online for a completely different property. This wasn't just fraud. This was elaborate, premeditated fraud. I stayed for another hour. Watched Ethan collect congratulations like currency. Watched my sister glow with reflected pride. Watched my father pat him on the back and say things like, always knew you had it in you, and that's how you build wealth. Nobody asked me how I was doing. Nobody asked about my job or my life or whether I'd been to the beach house recently. I was invisible, like always, which, it turned out, was exactly where I needed to be. I met Mark Rivera 2 days later at a coffee shop in Riverside County. He was mid-40s, weathered hands, tired eyes. He brought a file folder, 6 inches thick. I've been doing this for 12 years, he said, spreading documents across the table. I've worked with homeowners, investors, flippers. I thought I'd seen everything. Tell me how he approached you. Job board posting. Said he'd inherited a family beach house and wanted to modernize it for resale. Showed me photos, gave me the address, said he had the permits ready to go. I quoted him $23,000 for the deck, bathroom, and interior paint. He negotiated down to $18,500. We shook hands. Did he show you proof of ownership? He said his name wasn't on the deed yet, that it was still in his his grandmother's estate, said the family was handling the paperwork. My grandmother. He'd used my grandmother's passing to legitimize his con. When did you start working? 3 weeks ago. I've put in about 40 hours of labor plus materials. I'm into this for $15,000 already. I pulled out my phone and showed him my deed. This is the county record. My name, my property. I bought it from my grandmother's estate 5 years ago. Mark stared at the document. He said his grandmother just passed. She died 6 years ago. Jesus. Do you have the permits he showed you? Mark pulled out photocopies. I opened my laptop and logged into the county permit system. Checked each number. These are fake, I said. These permit numbers don't exist in the county database. How did he forge them? Probably found a template online. Changed the numbers, printed them out. Most contractors don't verify every permit number unless they have a reason to be suspicious. I verified the address, Mark said defensively. I verified the property exists. I didn't think to verify the permit numbers because why would someone go through all that trouble to fake them? Because he's desperate, I said. Or compulsive. Or both. I pulled up more county records, property tax payments, all current, all paid by me. I need to file a police report, Mark said. You should. I'm going to file one too. When? After I talk to my sister. Mark looked at me. She doesn't know? I don't think so. She seems genuinely happy for him. You're going to tell her husband's a fraud? I'm going to show her the evidence and let her draw her own conclusions. Mark leaned back in his chair. You're a better man than me. I'd burn him down immediately. Oh, I'm going to burn him down, I said. I'm just going to do it thoroughly. That night, I called my sister. Hey, she sounded cheerful. What's up? Can we have coffee? Just you and me? Sure. Is everything okay? I just need to talk to you about something. Pause. About Ethan? Yeah. Daniel, if this is about the beach house, I know you're probably hurt that he didn't ask your opinion, but it's been sitting there for years and… Lauren, please, just have coffee with me. Another pause. Longer this time. Okay, tomorrow? Tomorrow. We met at a cafe halfway between her house and the city. She showed up in athleisure and sunglasses, looking like she'd just come from yoga. You look stressed, she said, sitting down. I am. What's going on? I pulled out my laptop. I need to show you something. I showed her the deed, the county records, the tax payments, 5 years of documentation proving I owned the beach house. She stared at the screen. I don't understand. I bought it from Grandma's estate 5 years ago. I've been renting it out seasonally. It's been generating income. But Ethan lied. Her face went pale. No, he said the family was handling the estate transfer, that it was complicated. There was no transfer. I bought it outright in 2019. The estate closed 6 months later. Everything's been settled for years. Then why would he… I showed her the contractor's messages, the photos, the forged permits. He hired someone to renovate a property he doesn't own, using fake documentation. That contractor is 3 weeks into the job, and Ethan owes him $15,000. Lauren's hands started shaking. This is a mistake. He probably just… Lauren, look at the permit numbers. I checked them in the county database. They don't exist. She looked. I watched her face change as reality settled in. How long have you known? She whispered. Since Dad's birthday party. The contractor contacted me that night. And you didn't tell me? I wanted to have proof first. I wanted to make sure I wasn't wrong. Are you wrong? No. She put her head in her hands. Oh my God. I'm sorry. Don't apologize. You didn't do anything wrong. She looked up, eyes wet. What are you going to do? I need to file a police report. The contractor's already talking to a detective. This is fraud. Lauren, it's a crime. He's my husband. I know. We have 2 kids. I know. She was crying now. Real tears. How could he do this? I don't know. Was it just the beach house? Or has he been lying about other things? I hadn't thought about that. I don't know. She pulled out her phone, scrolled through something. 6 months ago, he said he'd gotten a promotion, that his salary was increasing, but we never saw the extra money. He said it was going into investments. What kind of investments? He wouldn't give me details, said it was complicated, said I should trust him. Red flag. Big red flag. Lauren, you should talk to a lawyer, not about divorce necessarily, but about protecting yourself and your kids financially. I can't believe this is happening. We sat there in silence while she processed. Other customers came and went. The barista called out names. Life continued around us while my sister's world collapsed. What happens next? She finally asked. I'm going to file a police report tonight. The detective will probably want to talk to Ethan, and the contractor will likely sue for payment. Can he go to jail? Possibly. Fraud, forgery, theft by deception. It depends on how the DA wants to charge it. She wiped her eyes. Our kids. I know. Everyone's going to find out. Yeah. Dad's going to be devastated. Dad believed Ethan's lie. That's not on you. She looked at me. Really looked at me. Why didn't you say something at the party when he was lying to everyone? Because I needed to be sure. And because I wanted to give you a chance to hear it from me first. Thank you. You're my sister. She started crying again. I'm so sorry. For all of it. For not asking about the house. For not checking with you. For just assuming, you didn't know. But she should have. They all should have. They should have asked me. The quiet son, the overlooked brother, whether I'd done anything with Grandma's house. They should have wondered who'd been maintaining it. Who'd been paying the taxes. They should have paid attention. But they didn't. Because Ethan was charming and confident and knew exactly what to say. And I was just Daniel. Daniel, I filed the police report that night. Detective Lauren Hayes from the Property Fraud Division called me the next morning. Mr. Morrison, I've reviewed your report and the documentation you provided. This is pretty clear-cut fraud. I'm going to need to interview Mr. Collins. He doesn't know I've reported it yet. That's probably better. Can you come down to the station this afternoon? I want to get your full statement on record. I spent 2 hours at the Riverside County Sheriff's Station going through everything. Detective Hayes was thorough mid-50s, 22 years on the force, patient and methodical. Has Mr. Collins attempted to contact you directly? She asked. No, he doesn't know I know. And your sister? I told her 2 days ago. She's trying to process it. Has she confronted him? I don't know. I told her to talk to a lawyer first. Detective Hayes made notes. We're going to execute a search warrant on his residence. Look for evidence of the forged documents, communications with the contractor, anything that shows intent. When? Probably next week. I need to coordinate with the DA's office. What about the contractor? Mark Rivera? He's filing a separate civil suit, but his evidence supports the criminal case. Forged permits alone are enough for charges. I left the station feeling strange, like I'd set something in motion I couldn't stop, which was exactly what I'd done. 3 days later, my father called. Daniel, what the hell is going on? What do you mean? Lauren called me crying, said something about Ethan and fraud and the beach house. She wasn't making sense. I took a breath. Dad, I own the beach house. I bought it from Grandma's estate 5 years ago. Ethan doesn't own it. He never did. Silence. He hired a contractor to renovate it using forged permits. The contractor's 3 weeks into the job, and Ethan hasn't paid him. I filed a police report. There's an active investigation. More silence. Dad, you're telling me Ethan lied? At my birthday party? In front of the whole family? Yes. And you knew? I found out that night. The contractor texted me during the party. And you didn't say anything. I wanted to have all the facts first. I wanted to talk to Lauren privately. I wanted to handle this the right way. The right way would have been to expose him immediately, so everyone could watch Lauren's humiliation in real time. That stopped him. She's your daughter, I said quietly. I protected her as much as I could. Another long silence. I can't believe this, he finally said. Neither can I. What happens now? The police investigate. The DA decides whether to press charges. The contractor sues. Ethan faces consequences. Number 4. And Lauren? She's talking to a lawyer about protecting herself and the kids financially. Jesus Christ. Yeah, he hung up without saying goodbye. The search warrant came through on a Tuesday morning. Detective Hayes called me at 9:47 a.m. We executed the warrant at Mr. Collins's residence, found the forged permit templates on his computer, multiple drafts, email communications with the contractor where he explicitly claimed to own the property, financial records showing he's underwater on credit card debt to the tune of $48,000. $48,000? He was desperate, Mr. Morrison. Probably thought flipping the house would solve his money problems, but he doesn't own it, which is why it's fraud and not just bad business. Is he under arrest? Not yet. We're building the case for the DA, but it's coming. I sat down at my desk, phone pressed to my ear, trying to process the number. $48,000 in debt. My sister had no idea. Her husband had been lying to her about everything. There's something else, Detective Hayes said. What? We found evidence he was planning to take out a home equity loan against your property. He had loan applications filled out, forged signatures, the whole thing. My stomach dropped. He was going to take out a loan against a house he didn't own, using forged documentation? Yes, that's felony fraud. Multiple counts. When will you arrest him? DA's reviewing the case now. Probably by end of week. Lauren called me that night. They searched my house today. Her voice was flat. Dead. I know, Detective Hayes told me. Found a whole folder on Ethan's computer. Plans, budgets, loan applications. All for your house. I'm sorry. Don't be. You didn't do this. He did. She paused. The detective showed me the credit card statements. $48,000. I had no idea. I thought we were fine. I thought we were saving for the kids' college. What are you going to do? I already filed for legal separation. My lawyer says I need to protect myself and the kids from his debts. That's smart. Smart. She laughed bitterly. I married a con artist and didn't notice for 6 years. How is that smart? You're not responsible for his lies. Everyone thinks I knew. Dad, Mom, Uncle Mark, they all think I was in on it. Then they're idiots. She laughed again, this time genuine. Thanks. Do you need anything? No, I wanted you to know I'm handling it. I'm not going to fall apart. I know you won't. And Daniel? Yeah? I'm sorry for not asking about the house, for not paying attention, for letting Ethan make you invisible. My throat tightened. You didn't. I did. We all did. And I'm sorry. The arrest came on Friday. Detective Hayes called me at 2:13 p.m. Ethan Collins is in custody. Multiple counts of fraud, forgery, attempted theft. DA's office is pretty confident about prosecution. Bail? Set at $50,000. His lawyers arguing for reduction. I thought about the credit card debt, the lies, the desperate plan to steal my house. He won't make bail, I said. Probably not. The hearing was 3 weeks later. I sat in the back of the courtroom and watched Ethan shuffle in wearing an orange jumpsuit. He looked smaller, deflated. The DA presented the case methodically. The forged permits, the contractor fraud, the attempted home equity fraud, the financial records showing motive. motive. Ethan's public defender tried to argue financial desperation, mitigating circumstances, first-time offender. The judge wasn't interested. Mr. Collins, you didn't just commit fraud. You committed elaborate, premeditated fraud involving forgery of government documents, defrauding a contractor, and attempting to steal property through fraudulent means. This demonstrates a pattern of deception. Bail was denied. Trial date set for 3 months out. I left the courthouse and found my sister waiting by my car. You came, I said. I had to see it. She looked exhausted. Is it wrong that I feel relieved? No. The kids asked where Daddy is. I told them he made some bad choices and has to deal with the consequences. That's honest. They're 8 and 6. They don't really understand. We stood there in the courthouse parking lot, 2 people trying to figure out how to move forward. What about the beach house? She asked. What about it? The contractor. Did he get paid? I settled with him. Agreed to pay for the work since it needed to be done anyway. He's finishing the deck and bathroom at cost. That's generous. He was a victim too. She nodded. Are you going to sell it? No, I'm going to keep renting it. It's good income. Ethan said you'd been wasting it, that it was just sitting there. Ethan lied about everything. Yeah, she looked at me. I'm going to tell Dad the truth about how you bought it years ago, about how you've been managing it, about how you handled this whole thing to protect me. You don't have to. Yes, I do, because you're not invisible, Daniel, and I'm done letting our family treat you like you are. The trial was quick. The evidence was overwhelming. Ethan took a plea deal, 3 years, minimum security, restitution to Mark Rivera, permanent restraining order from my property. My father called me the night the plea was announced. I owe you an apology, he said without preamble. Okay. I believed Ethan because he was loud and confident. I ignored you because you were quiet. That was wrong. Yeah, your grandmother would have been proud of you for buying the house, for managing it well, for handling this situation with integrity. Thanks, Dad. I'm proud of you too. I should have said that years ago. I didn't know what to say to that. Anyway, he continued awkwardly, your mother and I want to have you over for dinner. Just you. Not a big family thing. Just us. I'd like that. I drove to the beach house 6 months after Ethan's sentencing. Mark Rivera had finished the renovations. Beautiful work. Exactly what the place needed. New deck, updated bathroom, fresh paint throughout. I stood on the deck watching the sunset turn the ocean orange and gold, thinking about everything that had happened. Ethan had seen my silence as weakness. My family had seen my quietness as absence. They'd all been wrong. I'd bought this house because I wanted to preserve something of my grandmother's legacy, because I understood that value wasn't always loud, that wealth wasn't always flashy. Ethan had tried to steal it because he thought no one would notice. He'd been wrong about that too. My phone buzzed. A text from Lauren. The divorce is final. Kids are doing okay. Starting therapy next week. Thank you for everything. I typed back, you're going to be fine. I know, because I have you. I put my phone away and looked out at the water. The house stood solid behind me. Grandma's house. My house now. Ethan had wanted to flip it for a quick profit, to show everyone how smart he was. Instead, he'd shown everyone exactly what he was. And I'd done it by simply telling the truth. No drama, no spectacle, just documentation and patience, and letting his own lies destroy him. The sun dipped below the horizon. I locked up the house and drove home, knowing that sometimes the quietest victories are the most complete. Claude is AI and can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.